Hi, ma'am. Hi.
Hello, Anand and Siddha. How are
Yes,
you?
I'm fine, man. And you?
I'm very well, thank you. Uh, how have you been? I haven't seen you for a long time.
Yes, ma'am. Uh, very long time.
Yeah. What have you been up to?
Yes, ma'am. I running to nice today.
Mhm, mhm.
Yes, ma'am.
And how's work?
Yes, ma'am. Work is always going to nice, wonderful.
Mhm, mhm. Very good. Very
Okay,
good.
ma'am.
Yes. I think you had some exam the
Yes, yes,
last. How
ma'am.
how how was your exam?
The exam is writing well, but I cannot succeed, ma'am.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
can try again.
Yes, ma'am. I can try next
Yeah.
time.
Yes, yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Very good.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah. Do you want to do the lesson on raising children?
Yes, ma'am. I would like to general conversations topics such as economic crisis in Sri Lanka.
Ah, okay. Is there a economic? Yes, yes, please, let's talk. Tell me about it.
Yes, ma'am. Nowadays, the economic crisis is very difficult situation in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka is neighborhood countries in my countries. It is very difficult to handle the situations because it's a very long time. The inflation is very high, as well as uh, the crisis is very continuously more than 2 to 3 years because COVID situations is affecting the countries more than small GDP countries, including Sri Lanka. So the country's political situations as well as the GDP is very affected nowadays. So it is very difficult, ma'am. So nowadays.
Yeah. Do you think that this is because of the pandemic?
Yes, ma'am. It is one of the it is a main reason is COVID situations. Main reason
Mm.
is COVID situation. Another is the countries is depending on only for the tea industries and the tourism sector. So it is very difficult to handle the time. Yes, ma'am.
Mm, mm.
Yes, yes,
I think this is the situation for everybody around the world. We all struggling with the economy. It's the
yes, yes.
same in my country, actually.
Yes,
You
yes, yes.
know,
In my
and
opinion, ma'am, the country is depending only for the tourism sector as well as the tea industries. It is the only lack of situations to handle the to outcome the economic crisis. I think it is a if the countries is focused the more than industrializations as well as the industries, common industries and export to improve the export to the foreign countries, it definitely the countries tackle the situation smoothly. In my opinions,
mm,
it is the only the situations. It is depending on the big neighborhood countries and big countries for import only. It is the main reasons as well as it is not take the effective policies to implementations. Another reasons, if the countries make the good and efficient policies, definitely the country's GDPs is grow as well as the industries, uh, foreign in the foreign investments definitely come to the countries. I think it is the
mm.
one of the reasons, ma'am.
I think you're right. I think this is one of the main reasons. You
Yes, yes,
know,
yes.
um, what about the war between Russia and Ukraine? Do you think that that is also having an impact on the economy?
Yes, yes, ma'am. Another. It is not more than effective, uh, but it is one of the little bit of a reason to affect the countries in more than countries, but particularly Sri Lanka is affected more and more because already the countries is economic crisis and difficult situations, and Russian and Ukraine war is also affected the situations. Yes, ma'am.
Can I ask you a question, please, Anand Sadan?
Yes, yes.
Uh, is Sri Lanka an independent country from India, right?
Yes, 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 ma'am. It is not an independent country, ma'am, from India. It is and before the British colonial era, the Sri Lanka, Nepal, Bhutan, and Pakistan, Bangladesh, and India. It is the one of the Hindustan. We are called the Hindustan, and after the partitions, already Bhutan, Nepal, and Sri Lanka is already dependent from the Britishers. And recently, and India and Pakistan, Bangladesh, 3 countries is only the same under the colonial era of Britishers. And 1947, we have independent from the British. Yes, ma'am. But the countries is already dependent, independent from the British. So I think it is very difficult. We have tried to provide uh, uh, many more to tackle the situations to the helping the countries to the Sri Lanka. But I think it is not very critical situations now, because
Mm,
we have already $1 billion provide the line of credit, and as well as 500 millions of dollars to the loans, very low interest of loans already provided. But I think very difficult, because the countries is depend only for the import, and as well as more than interest of paid the loans, such amount we have provided. Yes,
mm,
ma'am.
mm, I see. I see. Okay, and what is the weather in Sri Lanka different from the weather in India? Because Sri Lanka is like an island, right?
Yes, 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 yes. It is a, I think, ma'am, it is a very good atmospheres. Same for the India, same such as the India, but
That's
but the Sri Lanka atmosphere, climatic conditions is very little bit of cold, because the island and surrounding the Arabian Seas. Uh,
right. I see. I
yes,
see. Yeah. Yeah.
yes, yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay. Mm,
I think, ma'am, the countries only now try to tackle the situations through the IMF, Indian Monetary Fund, for bail out the uh, big amount, big amount of loans. If the countries take the loans, is definitely little bit of improvement. Such
mm.
nowadays, I think. Uh, no, no way, ma'am. We have see the situations in time to time.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
How concerned are you about the economy?
Ma'am, I'm concerned very critical, very sadly, because we have very neighborhood countries, as well as I am South India. In particularly, I am Tamil Nadu. My traditions and my own language speaking peoples is always in Sri Lanka. It is
Mm,
another one of the very dependent such we seeing see seriously that matters, because another matter. Yes, ma'am.
mm, mm,
We already, ma'am, I already give the many more chances, because 1971, I think one of the very before 20 to 30 years, already facing the economic crisis in Sri Lanka. That time, lots of people, Sri Lankans, come to the India through the Rameshwaram in Tamil Nadu. We have
mm,
provided many more, built the many more camp to provide the benefits. But nowadays, more than 60 to 70 years running, but the people's always in India, but not returned to back in Sri Lanka. It is another one of the reasons now. Recently, 60 to 10 to 12 peoples come from India to stay. Cannot tackle the situations in economic crisis of Sri Lanka. So the peoples come to India to any many more. We have facing the situations, but but we have provided the first aids, and as well as to give the particulars food and cloth to tackle the situations. But I think it is not sufficient. If the situations is tackled only the Sri Lankan government, we have not provide. We have provided only for the loan and line of credit loans, and as well as recently 40,000 barrels of tons barrels diesels give to tackle the situations. Uh, and 2 to 3 years before, 2 to 3 days before that, uh, more than the thousands of people facing riots opposites of the Rajapaksa house. Another one is the situation is very dangerous day to day. I think it is how to tackle the situations. It is only the reasons if all the Asian countries to provide the line of credits, as well as the countries is implement the strict and sufficient and efficient policies to tackle the situations. It is a though reasons, though way, two way to tackle the situation. I think, ma'am.
Mm, mm. Wow, those are sensible ways, you know.
Yes, yes.
Uh, but I think everyone in Sri Lanka is just as concerned as you are.
Yes, yes, ma'am. All the Sri Lankan peoples in favor and sympathetic only for India. If India only the one country in Asian country to tackle the situations from Sri Lanka, India, and
Excuse me.
recently. Blaming the social media, some people's and Indian army come from the Sri Lanka to tackle the situations. And yes, ma'am,
Sorry,
I read the situations.
sorry, Anansidan. You know what? Our time is up
Yes, yes, yes.
because my next student is trying to call me now. But
Okay, okay,
thank you so much for calling me.
okay, ma'am. We can call next time.
Okay, okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay,
Bye-bye.
ma'am. Bye, ma'am.
Bye.
Bye, ma'am.